Nicknamed the Queen City, Cincinnati is truly one of the gems of the Midwest. It was one of only a few American cities that the great Charles Dickens actually had a favorable opinion of, and I think it's still a unique and charming city today. I was in Cincy about a month ago and was really impressed by the city. In this series, I briefly cover a city's history, population, skyline, as well as a few things that make the city unique. Now let's meet Cincinnati. I always like to start by exploring how a city wound up being where it is today. Cincinnati is located on the north shore of the Ohio River, between the confluences of the Great Miami and Little Miami rivers. The Shawnee people were some of the early inhabitants of the area, and in 1788, the first of several settlements was established there. Fort Washington was built there in 1789, and soon after that, the town was renamed Cincinnati. Because Cincinnati was founded just following the Revolutionary War, it is considered by some historians to be the first truly American city. In the early 1800s, it became a river port and later a major pork packing center. It also gained the nickname of the Queen City, or Queen of the West, because of its culture and art scene on the edge of the frontier. In fact, Charles Dickens visited Cincinnati in 1842 and wrote, "Cincinnati is a beautiful city, cheerful, thriving, and animated." Growth in the city continued, and by 1850, Cincinnati was the sixth largest city in the United States. Today, Cincinnati has a population of around 309,000, making it the third largest city in Ohio, behind Cleveland and Columbus. If you've watched many of my other videos, you'll know that I think metro population is a better indicator of a city's true size, and Cincinnati has a metro population of around 2,265,000. This makes it the 30th largest metro in the country, behind Las Vegas and ahead of Kansas City. This would also technically make it the largest metro in Ohio, although it's not that straightforward. Some of the most recognizable companies headquartered in Cincinnati include Kroger, Procter & Gamble, Graeter's, and Skyline Chile. There are over 20 colleges and universities in the area, including the alma mater of the Kelsey brothers, the University of Cincinnati, Xavier and Hebrew Union College, which is the oldest rabbinical seminary in the country. Call me shallow, but when it comes to cities, I think appearances matter, which is why evaluating a city's skyline is one of my favorite parts of making these videos. Cincinnati's got a solid-looking skyline, in my opinion. I've seen it ranked as highly as a top 10 skyline in the country on some lists, but I'd personally rank it as a borderline top 20 skyline. If you took the average height of its tallest 5 buildings, it would be ranked as the 29th tallest skyline in the country, behind Kansas City and ahead of St. Louis. I like the look of Cincy's tallest building, the Great American Tower, which is the third tallest building in Ohio at 665 feet. Part of what makes Cincinnati's cityscape visually appealing is the iconic John A. Roebling Bridge. When the bridge was built in 1866, it was the longest suspension bridge in the world. The bridge shares a lot of similarities with its more famous younger sibling, the Brooklyn Bridge in New York, which was also designed by Roebling. I think it's a beautiful bridge, which also looks great when lit up at night. The Ohio side of the bridge is closely flanked by Cincinnati's 2 major professional sports stadiums, the Reds' Great American Ballpark and the Bengals' Paycor Stadium. The Paycor Stadium used to be known as Paul Brown Stadium and is nicknamed the Jungle. The American Institute of Architects in 2007 had the stadium ranked as the 101st favorite building in the whole country, which made it the only NFL stadium to crack the top 150 and is one of only 2 buildings in Cincinnati to make that list. The other Cincinnati building to make the list is the Cincinnati Union Terminal. It ranked as the 45th favorite building in the country, just behind one of my personal favorites, the Woolworth Building in New York. I love Art Deco architecture, so it should be no surprise that I love the look of the Cincinnati Union Terminal. Completed in 1933, it is one of the last great train stations that was built. The most notable aspect of the building is the Great Half Dome, which spans 108 feet, making it the largest half dome in the Western Hemisphere. Today, the building still serves an Amtrak line, but the majority of the building is used for museums. Another Cincinnati museum that I should mention is the National Underground Railroad Freedom Center. Cincinnati played a major role in the Underground Railroad and was a gateway to freedom for around 30,000 slaves. Its primary artifact is a log slave pen, which is the only known surviving rural slave jail. The center is consistently nominated as one of the best museums in the nation. One of the top-rated public markets in the country is Findlay Market in Cincinnati. The vibrant market is located in the Over-the-Rhine neighborhood, which is one of the largest intact urban historic districts in the United States. Within the Over-the-Rhine neighborhood is one of Cincinnati's most beautiful buildings, the Cincinnati Music Hall. It is considered one of the last and best examples of Victorian Gothic Revival-style architecture. The centerpiece of the music hall is the Springer Auditorium, which seats around 2,500 people and has an incredible chandelier hanging from the ceiling. One of the most unique things in the Cincinnati Metro is Loveland Castle. The medieval-style castle was built over the course of over 50 years by one man, Harry Andrews. The castle and the gardens can be explored on a self-guided tour. It reminds me a lot of Bishop's Castle in Colorado, which was also built by one man. One of the most unique museums in Cincinnati is the American Sign Museum. The museum has a collection of over 200 commercial signs and is the largest public museum dedicated to signs in the country. The only museum that I'm aware of that is similar to this in the country is the Neon Museum in Las Vegas, but those signs are all displayed outdoors. And I have to finish this list with Cincinnati's most polarizing local food, Cincinnati Chile. There are several ways it's prepared, but typically it consists of at least spaghetti noodles topped with chili and a pile of shredded cheese. It's loved by many locals, but it's often criticized as one of the worst food dishes associated with a city. Well, that wraps up my video about Cincinnati. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like and check out some of my other videos about cities. And if you have a city you'd like to see an overview on, let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching.